You think you time it right, and you don't. Cool. All right, 6 bells, less a minute. I think we'll get this started. Hi, everyone. Episode 11. I like the number 11, and it's got a good vibe out of it, right? So, it's funny thinking it's been like 3 months-ish already. We're roughing it there, so cool. Grab bag today. I'm not going to dive into another election-based episode, but it is kind of interesting, just on the note of elections, that based on a phone call and a couple emails in the middle of last week, I may or may not end up being on. May or may not be on national TV. May or may not be addressing visibility for trans individuals in Canada. Who knows? So that'd be kind of cool. Well, let's see what happens. But grab bag time to get to the boat. It's been a long day. I hope everyone's had a great August. Getting right into September. I can't believe this year's almost done. So thanks for partying along. I hope everyone's doing okay. And especially with our country's climate, both ecologically and politically, I hope everyone stays safe. Let's dive in with Dwell on It, episode 11. Is there something you've dreamt of doing for a long time? Why haven't you done it? It's funny because if this question was asked of me 2 years ago, or longer, of course, my answer would obviously be to transition, to socially transition, and if not socially transition, to break the barricade that I continue to keep in my head of not being accepted in society. I think was the easiest, like one of, like if I broke down all of my thoughts, or the bulk majority of them, when in a past life, that it wasn't about physically transitioning, and it wasn't about the tangible things that people can compare from yesteryear to now, but internally it was a fear of not being accepted, and to escape that fear was what was holding me back so much then. And why haven't I done that was, well, that's what fear is. You can't be like, oh, just because it, but now, wow, that's an awesome question. Is there something I've dreamt of doing for a long time? Why haven't I done it? Oh, man, that's like when I went, and not even about going socially full time, but pretty much, like, I called it showtime, but pretty much as soon as, like, when I came out last year to the workplace and sports, and essentially started making it clear that this is where the path in life is going, I've still never thought forward too much. I haven't ever found myself daydreaming about any sort of achievement or anything like that, or like something like a little notch on the belt of, like, I want to go see the 7 wonders of the world, for example, or whatever. Because again, even just to relate to in a past life, my barricade was always, I knew that whatever I would want to do, I wouldn't appreciate it as much unless I was authentic. Otherwise, everything was really superficial. I remember I went to Toronto a few years ago standing in the top of the CN Tower, right? Right? Like, instead of just enjoying it and just enjoying, like a spectacle for all intents and purposes of what CN Tower is. And I'm just like, this is stupid. I don't want to be here. And like, I was, traveling Toronto myself, but like, I went to the, Ripley's, and same thing. I'm walking around the place like sad. I went to, like, I took in 4 Jays games and a Jet game in the series of 4 days, and I appreciated the sport, but I still just wasn't alive. So, like, I never allowed myself to kind of, like, have hopes and dreams farther than escaping that fear. And now that I have, I do what I want. Is there something about doing for a long time? No. Like, because it's not a new life. It's not a new life. It's finally an unlocked life. It's finally an authentic life. It's a happy life. So, man. Because because the thing that's important too is to recognize things that you're in control of and things you're not, right? Like, I don't ever find myself daydreaming about things like, let's just use, for example, somebody wants to be a movie star, right? And I get it. And everybody who wants to go into theater, please continue, knock yourself out. But when it's all said and done, you can be the absolute greatest performer out there, and there's still a non-zero probability that you won't be picked up because of your talent, or regardless of your talent, or whatever. So, the putting that control of a destiny in someone else's hands I don't find that safe to dream on. So otherwise, for me, if there's something that I want to do, I'm doing it. Or I'm getting around to doing it, like it's on my to-do list or something. I love that question. Wow. So why haven't I done it? It's either because I haven't thought of it or I haven't got around to it. Right? Because otherwise there's nothing stopping me now. Nothing is stopping me now. Nothing. Like nothing is stopping me now. I will flip a table and I will flip tables and flip and flip and flip tables. Because nothing is like, man, I love that question. And it's nice because it kind of just reflects on the freedom, the mental freedom. It's awesome. So, no, to answer the question, no, but not in a bad way. Oh, I love it. Well, sometimes there's the happy little after, or the happy ever afters. But again, like, that's putting control on someone else, so, right, I don't allow that to control, but, right, so, like, that could be a little asterisk beside things, sure, but otherwise, yeah, no, for things that, like, I am 100% in control of, no, if I want it, I get it, right, I love it. Fuck, I love that question so much. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. And I'm going to write it again nicer, right? But I'm going to keep that, and I'm going to put that on my wall or something like that. Fuck, I love that question so much. Wow. Thank you. Wow. Do you think a person's outward appearance says anything about who they are as a person? Explain. That's insightful. I have and I always underline that I acknowledge that the what's it called? Briggs-Meyer? Briggs-Meyer? I want to take a look here. Briggs-Meyer? That's what it is. Myers-Briggs. What I do know about the Myers-Briggs system of personality types was popular, and then also got soon enough not debunked, but kind of like dismissed from the psych community, because the tests for Myers-Briggs personality types were subjective, and it's also, when it comes to anything regarding like psychology or personality types or whatever, of course they're subjective, because you can't you can't just do a biopsy, for example, and all of a sudden be like, oh, here's everything about you that involves so many more elements of your human construct versus what this DNA says or whatever. But the Myers-Briggs type is still popular enough to discuss, and but you definitely don't use that as a formal assessment anymore. I think they cut that off in the 70s or something like that. But yeah, because it's subjective, because lots of times, depending on what your life status is, or how you're feeling emotionally when you're doing the test or whatever, right, could impact your results. And what I've noticed, though, is like over decades, I would, if I tripped over the test, it's wherever online or whatever, I've always got INFJ as a result. I'm very much a poster child for an INFJ personality type. So what's interesting when it comes to, do I think a person's outward appearance says anything about who they are as a person? I say yes, because I have a very, very, very good knack at recognizing the nuances in behaviors, more than what's sold, and whether that is by an individual in person, or you notice their behavior, whether it's online or by texting or whatever, and you can identify little nuances of something being a little different or whatnot, and then mindfully approach it to explore things a little further, to kind of like get that spidey sense and see what you're hinting and sniffing on and whatnot. So yeah, their outward appearance says tons about them, and sometimes they don't even realize that the way that they carry themselves, the way that their posture is, the way that their eyes are, the way that they're you see the little corner of their lips when they're speaking. And it's funny saying that. Like, I remember saying many times earlier last year when COVID was getting, I don't want to say popular, right, but certainly getting traction in public, and there was always discussions about masks, for example. Fully well and fine with masks and whatnot, but I made it very clear to many people who knew me that my communication style, like I said, was by observing the face and the body of many of who I'm speaking with, and sometimes not even who I'm speaking with, but just recognize what they're up to, and then same thing for myself. I find myself to be very expressionist and whatnot, and a lot of it too is also just growing up. I grew up in an age group 1 year younger than everybody else because I got pushed through a grade in elementary school. Of course, being trans and knowing that, not knowing I was trans as a kid, but knowing something was different, and especially knowing that I had a penchant for, like, I knew that at the age of 5, if somebody said, do you want to be a girl, I'd say yes. So I knew that. But so all of those elements had me in such a major defensive mode, and I'm always paying attention to the tiniest little particles of details of people and my surroundings as a safety mechanism. So back to the masks, most of my communication for my entire life has been spent observing not just the words spoken, but how they're spoken. And so now, all of a sudden, with masks on, I felt both like I couldn't speak or hear in my own sort of way, because now all of those pieces of conversation that I was used to are gone. Don't get me wrong, you can still understand a lot about what somebody's saying by even expressions in their face, up the eyes and eyebrows and whatnot too, but there's little little quirks and twerks that happen all over the face that you can pay attention to and check to see, and use to see, I should say, to observe the authenticity of what somebody is saying, right? Or to recognize if they're focused and such. Even to the point as well that when I think outward appearance, I think of how they carry themselves. Because in a past life, I was in sales, and I remember that we had a new guy at our store, and young kid and whatever, and it was so funny. It's like one of those cliche stories, but it happens, of course. And so a gentleman comes into the store, nice car, well dressed. He's kicking tires, looking at TVs in the home theater, right? And then not too long after, like, pulled in the parking lot at the same time. Clearly a farmer, right? Clearly a farmer. Pickup trucks, definitely not had a bath anytime in the recent past, right? Either looks like he probably just came into town to pick up some supplies or whatever, who knows, right? But you could see the two totally different characteristics from the individuals. And the floor manager at the time says to the new kid, he's like, take your pick. And of course he goes straight to, the guy with the fancy car and whatnot. And I go deal with the farmer. And the new kid ends up not selling whatever because the guy was kicking tires. And that's it. Sometimes that's how you kind of afford things, by not buying, right? But whatever, right? Like, I think Buddy thought that, Mr. Moneybags was just ready to throw money down at a bunch of stuff, right? And but what I saw, and same thing with the floor manager at the same time too, because we kind of wanted to see where this new kid's head was at. Like, farmers, he's business, all business, right? Like, he's got shit to get done, right? So he came in, knows what he wants, right? Do the, standard sales things or whatever, right? Get him when he needs to get him out of there, right? And and what I saw was hardworking, serious, right? Like, hi, I've got shit to do, right? And I see that, I can tell, right? That you're investing your time in, your so it's I find that kind of interesting as an experience there, but I remember that we both had a chit chat with new kid about that after, and it's why'd you go after whatever? It's well, he looked like he had money, right? So I wanted to get the big fish. I'm like, why do you think he has money? Not to say a farmer didn't, because obviously he was fine, right? But the automatic profiling with that, and you not realize that maybe the part of the reason why he looks like he has money is because he doesn't spend it, or whatever. And I even say, I was talking with a friend about this the other day, even when it comes to being visibly trans, that I have an immense amount of respect for people who are visibly trans and are confident in themselves, because they know that society's not going to change for them, and they're not changing for society, and they've got life to do, just like myself. Get up, get dressed, change the fucking world. Those are the things. And when you see somebody walking with confidence, outwardly, you see that confidence, that speaks so much volumes. right? And so, like, especially when it comes to people who are visibly trans, it's like, fucking rock it. Keep it up. Let people see that you are proud and excited to be you, doing your thing. And I get it. Largely because of safety. Many people who are visibly trans trying to not, right? You know, like, I kept saying to friends of mine as I was, like, whether they were people who knew me before I came out or even, you know, during my social transition, especially when like before I came out as abruptly as I did, I remember saying to so many friends that I just don't want to stand out. I just want to blend in. I don't want people to see me. Because I had no confidence in myself. I had no confidence in myself. And I want to make that clear. I hated the fact that I'm 6'1". So like it or not, I'm standing above most other people anyway. I was getting close to 40 at the time, and so I knew that because of the testosterone-based puberty, I've got facial features that some people may consider to be on the more masculine side. I don't think so much anymore. I think I look pretty fucking sharp, but that's neither here nor there. I was so scared of standing out, and all I wanted to do was just hide. And that would have spoken tons. My outward appearance was wishing that I, for all intents and purposes, didn't exist. And now look, 6'1", was out last night with some friends wearing 4-inch heeled boots, tall, bright blonde hair. These aren't a mistake. I intentionally have these as storytelling. They're unique. Eyes up here, talking. Right? People recognize me from this. People ask me about them. People tell me that they've never seen anything like that before. Right? Get the attention. Because I'm confident. I'm fucking excited to live. So yeah, do I think a person's outward appearance says anything about who they are as a person? Yeah, a lot. Awesome question. What's an insecurity you have? Wow, I was talking about this yesterday. My tummy. Tummy. I don't have genital dysphoria, but I do have body dysphoria with my tummy. And it's funny, I have no reason to have an insecurity about my tummy. Sitting down, I don't really feel like pulling off a flex, but anybody who's seen me would say, Taylor, you have no reason to be insecure about your tummy. Because I have no reason to be insecure about my tummy. I think it's pretty fucking... I'm alright. But, yeah, for my, and a lot of reasons behind it too, and not shared, but honestly, it's all related to being trans. So, pre-transition, of course, that, you know, many times that I would either buzz or trim or whatever, or shave and such, everywhere, obviously, and I didn't want to have a, you know, if I was just lifting a t-shirt or anything, you know, raising my arms, of course, my t-shirt or whatever would rise, and I didn't want, like, a shaved or buzzed or trimmed tummy showing up because I was afraid people would ask me questions about that. Be like, at the time, be like, Brad, what do you like, what? And like, anytime I would ever ask questions like that, I would always say, and with truth, I'm like, I get really hot and just get rid of, like, I turn into a furnace. More than ever now, by the way. Hi, HRT. I just want to talk. But no, I would just roast. And honestly, I don't like body hair anyway, right? I like just the principle of body hair, like through genetics, is to capture sweat and dirt, and actually, oddly enough, uses a cooling mechanism via sweat, right? But nonetheless, back to the heat and so whatever. So I would always have an insecurity about that, and I would always wear an undershirt. Always. It could be 35 degrees Celsius, and I'd be wearing a t-shirt with an undershirt. Guaranteed. And then post-transition, or now, whatever, I still get insecure about my tummy when, like, after I eat. And it's because of a visual trigger. The reason is because testosterone-based bodies, fat distribution for that body is typically, it starts primarily around the abdomen, and that's about it. Different body types, of course, right? I think I mentioned this way back when in a YouTube video or something like that, but like different body types, but otherwise where testosterone directs fat, typically goes to the belly. For estrogen-based bodies, that fat distribution, hips and thighs, boobs, cheeks, and then skin, evenly, typically. So it's like obviously more centralized in some locations, but then otherwise it's kind of evenly distributed. So for me, when it comes to my tummy, when I eat, it's funny, like even yesterday, I was saying to a friend before I went out, right? Like I literally had 2 glasses of OJ, and so I just kind of get a little boop in the tummy because where does it go, right? So like I have a flat stomach. Whatever, here, fine, look. I have no reason to be insecure, right? But, like, and so you just get that little whatever, and I just didn't like the optic of it, the visual of it. And it made me insecure, so I changed. So that's something that I do struggle with, but it's like I said, it's just in my head. I know it's fine, and I don't let it stop me. Like I was at the beach a while ago, right? Like I know I'm okay, right? But I don't know. It's just that little. So that's honestly my biggest insecurity, because otherwise I'm really happy, like with telling every angle about life, and I'm happy, I'm good. Yeah, better every day. Like honestly, I'm just trying to think about it. Life's fucking awesome. Yeah. But yeah, no, yeah, no, and like, and it's funny too, like, I'm just thinking about, like, the tummy, to even, like, back up what I was just saying about fat distribution. So I think about a month ago started I added another prescription to my HRT regimen, progesterone, and it's pretty much like turning the dial up to 11 a little bit. And what's funny is, like, I definitely haven't changed my workout regimen or anything like that, and, so I'm hitting the scale every day and staying around the same weight, but the body fat percentage is slightly going up, and not in a bad way, but it's just funny because, so, you know, I wake up in the morning and I go to the bathroom and I hop on the scale and I look in the mirror and I'm like, well, okay, it's definitely not at the tummy. So it's just kind of funny like that, because it affirms what I was saying, like, body fat percentage goes up a little bit, it's going straight to my ass, which I'm fine with. I love it, right? But like, I don't know. It's but yeah, no, if I could not show off my tummy after I eat, that is preferred. that's it. Yeah, that's funny. I like that question. That's awesome. I'm wondering what would have, there's so many things that could have sparked it, but no, I'm fucking living my best life. Holy shit. I am living my best fucking life. Nothing can stop me. I love that question. I'm going to do one more, because I feel like I cycled a lot on them. Well, actually, yeah, I'll do one more. I can't believe time flies as fast as it did. How do you handle fights? Oh, it's funny, because, like, let's add context. In a past life, I avoided. Now I'm like, nah, not having you. But no, and I'm talking like, getting a little within personal space. But no, like, how do I handle fights? I was talking to an incredibly close friend of mine earlier today, and oh man, is this doing the rubbing thing again? Ugh, I'm sorry. For people who I care about, I do what I can to let them know that I am trying to understand them before anything else. For people who are clearly not interested in a harmonious relationship, however you choose to use the word relationship, whether it's friendship, platonic friendship, intimate relationship, business relationship, network, whatever, if it's incredibly clear that that other person isn't interested in making sure that both parties succeed, they don't get much of me, because I don't need somebody who doesn't care if I succeed to succeed myself. Simply put, I do not stoop to their level. I do not go. I like using the brain. I like using the brain. I stay objective. And honestly, sometimes it's not great, because oftentimes fights are caused by an emotional reaction, but I stay objective to it, because facts are facts, right? But yeah, no, it's when I was suffering a lot of distress before I transitioned, I ran a lot. I wouldn't allow fights to happen, because I would shut down, which is a very different contrast to just disengaging, because I would shut down and then still use this again, dwell on it, and which would only hurt me more, because then nothing was happening. But I am in such a better space now that it's just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not playing this game. I'm way better than that. I'm out of here. Come find me when you're ready to talk like an adult, right? So, that's how I handle fights. That was a good question. I like that. Cool. Time flies. 4 questions still. Good number. And I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for everyone who's going to check this out later. Thanks for everyone who checked in now. And next week is, I want to take a look at a calendar and see how the rest of the country is doing. But I know next week we're going to be in the middle of virtual Pride in Winnipeg, so that'll be fun. And we'll we'll see what's coming up for then. And I can't believe it's September. Jeez Louise. What an absolute ride it's been. So I hope everyone's enjoying their own rides. Stay safe, like I said, and we'll talk later.